Imagine receiving a capsule on your first day of work, not a vitamin, but cyanide. A pill you're ordered to bite if captured. This is the reality for North Korea's elite special forces. Tonight, you'll hear from someone who refused that order. A 35-year-old operative who chose life over loyalty, freedom over fear. This is the story of a man who carried a death pill across borders and decided he deserved to live. Call to action. Join us in standing up for human rights. Subscribe to hear more stories of freedom. And share this with someone who believes every life matters. The story of why I left North Korea, it all started like this. March 2016. I graduated from Kim Il-sung Military University in Pyongyang. Think of it as North Korea's version of West Point. I was 26 years old. I grew up in Pyeongchon District, Pyongyang, near the Taedong River. My father was a party official, so our family had it better than most. Being a party official meant he was high-ranking like a senior government administrator. My mother worked as a doctor at Pyongyang's first hospital. My older brother, 3 years. My senior served as an officer in the regular army. By Pyongyang standards, we lived decently. Our rations came on time. We had better heating than most families in winter. Not what you'd call comfortable by your standards, but in North Korea, it was good enough. The day I came home after graduation, my father sat me down. He told me the Reconnaissance General Bureau had selected me. Special Forces, he said. My heart raced. The RGB was for the elite only. It was like getting into the most specialized unit within Special Forces. My father squeezed my shoulder. "You're the pride of our family," he said. Then he added that I should serve the party and the supreme leader with absolute loyalty. I felt proud. At 26, being chosen for such an important mission, it meant something. But my mother, listening from the kitchen, wore a different expression. Worry filled her eyes. "Isn't this dangerous?" she asked. I answered with confidence. I could handle it, I told her. Back then, I had no idea what special really meant. What special forces actually involved. That night, my mother slipped into my room. "No matter what happens," she whispered, "protect your life. Nothing in this world is more important than your life. Promise me you'll remember that." It took me years to understand what she meant. A week later, I left Pyongyang for a special training facility, deep in the Gangwon Province mountains. The day I said goodbye to my family, my mother wouldn't let go of my hand. I promised I'd see her on leave soon. Tears welled in her eyes. Did she know that I'd never come back the same person? I watched through the train window as Pyongyang disappeared. The Taedong River grew smaller. The familiar streets faded away. Moranbong Park, where my brother and I used to play. The riverside paths where I'd walked holding my mother's hand. Everything shrank into the distance. Pride swelled in my chest. But so did something else. An uneasy feeling I couldn't name. That uneasiness wasn't wrong. I arrived at the training facility in late March 2016. Mountains surrounded us on all sides. No villages, no lights, complete isolation. From day one, the training went beyond anything I'd imagined. We woke at 4 a.m., worked until 11 p.m. No breaks, mountain warfare, firearms training, hand-to-hand combat. Every day felt like hell. But I endured. I had pride. I'd been specially selected. 3 months in, an instructor gathered us all together. He held a small box. When he opened it, I saw clear capsules inside. "These are cyanide capsules," he said. "If you're captured by the enemy during a mission, you must bite down and swallow." The room went silent. 20 of us. No one spoke. Cyanide, you know what that is. Deadly poison. Minutes to death once ingested. The instructor continued. "Better to die than be captured and leak information." That was true loyalty, he said. Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un's direct order. My whole body went cold. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed thinking, did I come here to die? My mother's words echoed. No matter what happens, protect your life. Did she know about this training? 2 months later came an even bigger shock. August 2016. One of our group, Kim Seong-ho, was 25. From Hamhung. He talked about his family constantly. He wanted to take care of his parents, send his younger sibling to university. We had a night infiltration drill scheduled. A mountain crossing in terrible weather. Rain poured. Wind howled. The instructor pushed forward anyway. "Combat doesn't wait for good weather," he said. Seong-ho slipped on a cliff that night. The rocks were slick with rain. He lost his footing, fell 30 feet. When we reached him, he was bleeding, unconscious. We called for a medic. but the nearest hospital was 2 hours away. He died in my arms. His last words still ring in my ears. Hyung, tell my mother. I'm sorry. Then his eyes closed. 25 years old. Dead in the freezing rain. The next day, the instructor's words shocked me even more. Comrade Kim Seong-ho sacrificed himself gloriously for the fatherland. Someday, you'll do the same. Like we were disposable tools. That's when it hit me. We weren't people. We were equipment. Tools to be used and discarded. The cyanide capsules. The dangerous training. All of it made sense now. Every night, I thought about Seong-ho. His parents would never know how their son really died. They'd just receive a notice. Sacrificed gloriously for the fatherland. Would my parents get the same letter someday? That's when the doubt started. Something wasn't right. But I didn't question the system yet. I was just confused. Why am I here? Is this really the right path? Those questions grew quietly, deep inside. 8 years passed. From 2016 to 2024, I trained as a special operative. In 8 years, I went home to Pyongyang exactly 3 times. Every visit, my mother cried when she saw how thin I'd become. My father remained proud, but my mother's eyes grew sadder each time. She kept asking if I was doing dangerous work. Early December 2024, I was 35. The facility commander called 5 of us into his office. Something big was happening. A large map hung on the wall. South Korea's west coast, Incheon, marked in red pen. The commander gave us our orders. Infiltrate Incheon port, photograph the container terminal, document which ships came in, where they went, track the flow. We had other tasks too. Locate military bases near Incheon, find U.S. installations, map Korean army positions, chart industrial facilities. 1 week to collect intelligence, then return by submarine to report. We received small cameras, encrypted USB drives for storing photos. Then he handed us a small box. Inside were 5 cyanide capsules. If you're discovered and face capture, you must self-terminate. This is Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un's direct order. Self-terminate. The word pierced through me. The same terror from 8 years ago rushed back. The commander kept talking. Interrogation would leak state secrets. Death was preferable. Dying for the fatherland was the highest honor. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling. I'm going to die now. 35 years old. Never married. No children. Never really lived. My mother's face appeared in my mind. The way she'd hold my hand during visits. Protect your life, she'd said. But now I was being sent to die. A few days later, I got to call home one last time before the mission. Hearing my mother's voice almost broke me. When are you coming home? She asked. Soon, I lied. But I knew. This might be our last conversation. My father got on the phone. Serve the party and the Supreme Leader with loyalty. You're the pride of our family. I responded, but the words felt hollow. No more pride, just fear. After hanging up, I thought, is this right? At 35, carrying a cyanide capsule, sneaking into another country, is this right? That night, a thought began growing. Dangerous. Reckless. But it kept getting stronger. What if I could live by going south? Dawn, December 23, 2024. We reached the waters off Incheon. 5 of us swam from the submarine to shore. The waves were rough. Freezing cold cut through me. We found an abandoned building near the port. An old warehouse. Choi Seong-il, our team leader, ordered us to take turns on watch. 2-hour shifts. 2 at a time. We watched each other closely. Anyone might turn. First night, Choi divided our assignments. Kim Cheol-ho and I would cover the container terminal. Park Yong-soo and Lee Dong-hyuk would scout military positions. Choi would survey industrial facilities. The mission started the next night. Cheol-ho and I headed to the port. Containers stacked like mountains. Cranes moving cargo all night long. While Cheol-ho kept watch, I photographed everything with the small camera. Ship numbers, container codes, operating schedules. I recorded it all, saved it to the USB. As I worked, I wondered, what's this information for? War preparation? My chest felt tight. Second night, we checked military bases. Through the barbed wire, I could see barracks, Korean army installations. I noted locations, sketched the surrounding terrain. A patrol passed by. We hid. My heart hammered. If we got caught, we'd die. We'd have to bite the capsule. I felt the capsule at my waist. Cold. Third day, we ran out of food at the hideout. Cheol-ho volunteered to get supplies from a convenience store. I went with him. Choi's eyes narrowed. 30 minutes. No more. Walking into that convenience store shocked me. Shelves full of goods. Bread, snacks, cup noodles, milk, fruit, price tags on everything. People choosing freely. The cashier smiled. Welcome, not a forced smile. A real one. I'd never seen that in North Korea. Outside, the streets blazed with light. Middle of the night, but bright everywhere. 24-hour stores, chicken shops, cafes, all lit up. People walked around, unafraid, laughing, talking, looking at phones, moving freely. I stopped walking. Cheol-ho urged me to hurry, but my feet wouldn't move. These people don't carry cyanide capsules. No one ordered them to die. They're just living. I touched my waist, felt the capsule. The reality hit hard. Someday, I'd have to bite this. When we got back to the hideout, Choi checked his watch. 28 minutes. He stared at me with suspicion. That night, my decision solidified. I'm staying here. The day after tomorrow, we'd return north to report. Then another mission. Eventually, I'd get caught. Have to bite the capsule. No, I want to live. The next night was my last chance. Tomorrow meant returning to the submarine. Choi announced the watch rotation. 2 a.m. him and me. I waited for that moment. At 2, Choi woke me. We went outside. He'd watch east. I'd watch west. This was it. Slowly, I backed into the darkness. Until Choi couldn't see me anymore. Then I ran. I ran into the darkness. Didn't look back. Kept my footsteps quiet as I ducked into an alley. My heart felt ready to explode. Maybe 200 meters out, I heard voices behind me. Mincheol! Where'd you go? Choi's voice. Then others. Find him, now! They knew. I ran faster. Burst out of the alley onto a main road. Where should I go? I needed to find a police station. But I had no idea where. I ran down the street. 2:30 a.m. No people around. Just occasional taxis passing. The footsteps behind me got closer. There! It's Mincheol! Cheol-ho's voice. I glanced back. 3 of them chasing. Less than 100 meters away. My lungs were burning. I couldn't breathe. But I couldn't stop. If they caught me, I was dead. I was a traitor. I turned a corner. Saw a convenience store. Next to it, a blue sign. The characters were faint, but I could make out police station. A police station. I ran with everything I had. 50 meters. 30 meters. Behind me, Choi shouted, Park Mincheol! Stop! Traitor! 20 meters left. Almost there. But the footsteps were so close now. 10 meters. 5. I reached the police station door. A hand grabbed my shoulder from behind. Choi, you bastard. I twisted away. Threw myself at the door. It opened. I stumbled inside. Help me, I screamed. 2 officers jumped to their feet, startled. One asked what was wrong. I gasped for air. I'm from North Korea. I want to defect. The door burst open again. Choi and Cheol-ho ran in. Choi smiled at the officers. Just a friend who had too much to drink, he said. Playing around. Nothing serious. But I shouted, No! They're North Korean operatives. They're trying to kill me. The officers' faces hardened. One reached for his gun. Hands up, everyone! Choi's face twisted. Cheol-ho's hand moved toward his waist. Going for his weapon, it looked like. I yelled fast. Watch out! They're armed! The officer aimed his gun. Choi and Cheol-ho froze. The other officer radioed for backup. Less than a minute later, multiple police cars arrived. SWAT team members rushed in. They subdued Choi, Cheol-ho, and Park Yong-soo, who'd been waiting outside. I collapsed to the floor. Every muscle gave out. I'm alive. I'm alive. An officer asked if I really came from North Korea. Yes, I'm with the Reconnaissance General Bureau, Korean People's Army. I want to defect to the Republic of Korea. My hands shook. I could feel the cyanide capsule at my waist. But I hadn't bitten it. I'd chosen to live. The officer told me they'd move me somewhere safe. I nodded. Tears streamed down my face. The car headed somewhere in Seoul. Handcuffs cut into my wrists. Curtains covered the windows. I couldn't see outside. About an hour's drive. We entered a building. Underground. Down a corridor, into a small room. 1 desk. 2 chairs. A mirror on the wall. One-way glass. Someone was watching me. 2 men in suits entered. National Intelligence Service, they said. One looked older. The other was younger. The older agent sat down. His voice was cold. Identify yourself. I answered with a trembling voice. My name. My affiliation. Reconnaissance General Bureau. The agent cut me off. He'd seen countless spies, he said. He'd know immediately if I lied. Cold sweat ran down my back. His eyes were sharp. I could tell he didn't believe me. Questions poured out. What was my mission? Who was my contact? Did I have collaborators in the South? The same questions repeated 10 times, 20 times. If my answers varied even slightly, they'd press harder. The interrogation lasted all night. No bathroom breaks. Not even water. The younger agent slammed the desk. "Tell the truth!" My voice shook. "I am telling the truth. I really came to defect, but they didn't seem to believe me. Do you have proof?" they asked. What proof could I show? I was a spy, an operative who'd infiltrated South Korea. The Korean government had no reason to trust me. Then I remembered. The cyanide capsule at my waist. "I have proof," I said. The agents tensed. Slowly, I reached for my waist. A man who looked like a bodyguard drew his gun from near the door. Slow movements. "Try anything, and I'll shoot." Carefully, I pulled out the capsule. A small, transparent capsule. White powder inside. I set it on the desk. "What is this?" the agent asked. "Cyanide," I answered. "They gave it to us. We're supposed to bite it if we're captured." Kim Jong-un's order. The agent picked up the capsule, held it to the light, handed it to the younger agent who left the room, probably to analyze it. "Why didn't you bite it?" he asked. The question left me speechless for a moment. Why didn't I bite it? It was an order to die. I wanted to live. I just wanted to live. The older agent looked at me for a long time. His expression softened slightly. About 30 minutes later, the younger agent returned. He whispered something to the older one. Confirmed it was cyanide, a lethal dose. The atmosphere in the room shifted. The agent's eyes changed. They were still cautious, but they seemed to believe me now. The older agent spoke. "I'd need more interrogation," he said, "but they'd guarantee my safety." That night, I slept for the first time. The room was small but warm. There was a blanket. In North Korea during winter, I would have frozen to death. In my dreams, I saw my mother. She was crying. In the dream, I told her, "Mother, forgive me. I just wanted to live." When I woke up, my pillow was soaked. A week of interrogation. They used a polygraph. Repeated the same questions dozens of times. Exhausting, but I endured. Just being alive felt like a gift. Mid-January 2025, they transferred me to a facility in Gyeonggi Province. Hanawon, they called it. A place that helps defectors adjust to South Korean society. Hanawon looked like a school. Clean buildings. A wide field. My assigned room was small but warm. A bed, a desk, a closet, a room to myself. Unimaginable in North Korea. At the training facility, 10 of us shared one room. Here, I could lock my door. No one watching me. First evening, I went to the cafeteria. Ricey, soup. 6 side dishes. Meat, too. I could take as much as I wanted. No ration cards needed. I cried while eating. In North Korea, we ate meat once or twice a year, only on holidays. Here, it came every day. Training started the next day. Social adaptation education, they called it. How to use banks. How to ride the subway. How to go to the hospital. Everything felt foreign. The smartphone surprised me most. An instructor taught us how to use it. Touch the screen with your finger, and things moved. You could search for anything on the internet, she said. With shaking hands, I searched North Korea. Countless articles appeared. News about Kim Jong-un. Defector interviews. North Korean human rights issues. Everything was public. Content we could never see in North Korea. Criticizing the regime. Criticizing Kim Jong-un. Viewing this would have sent you to a political prison camp. But here, anyone could see it. That evening, I watched TV. The news covered North Korea. The anchor criticized Kim Jong-un's policies, called it a dictatorship. I looked around, startled, but no one else reacted. They watched as if it were normal. That's when I understood. This was a different world. At Hanawon, I met other defectors. A woman who'd run a market stall. An elderly man who'd hidden in China for over 10 years. A young man who'd been a soldier, like me. Everyone had different reasons for coming. But one thing was the same. We came because we wanted to live. One day, an instructor asked what I wanted to do in Korea. I thought for a long time. In North Korea, no one had ever asked what I wanted. I just followed orders. I want to live an ordinary life. Wake up in the morning. Go to work. Come home in the evening. That kind of life. The instructor smiled. You can do that here. You get to choose. Choose. The word felt strange. In North Korea, there were no choices. You were born, and the party decided your path. At night, I looked out the window. Stars. The same stars I'd seen from North Korea. But they looked different here. They were stars in a free sky. February 2025. I finished the Hana program. 3 months of training. Time to enter society. The government provided housing support. A small studio apartment near Seoul. It had furniture, a refrigerator, a washing machine, my own place, in my name. In North Korea, the party assigned housing. They could take it away any time. But this was mine. My name was on the door. First night I sat alone. Quiet. No one watching me. No guard duty. Just an ordinary night. I went to a convenience store. Following what I'd learned at Hanawan, I picked out items. Cup noodles, bread, milk. Paid and left. Such a simple thing amazed me. I received job training. How to write a resume. How to interview. A month later, I got hired at a small company. A logistics firm. When I received my first paycheck, I cried. I got paid for the work I did. In North Korea, working just meant getting rations. Almost no money. Here, I earned what I worked for. With that money, I bought food I wanted. Clothes I wanted. But every night I dreamed. Dreams of my mother. She'd be crying in Pyongyang. My father appeared too. My brother, cursing me as a traitor. When I woke, my chest ached. What happened to my family after I defected? Did they go to a political prison camp? Were they expelled from Pyongyang? I felt sorry, but I didn't regret it. I wanted to live. One day at work, a colleague asked where I was from. I hesitated, then answered, North Korea. He looked surprised, then asked if I had family in the north. I nodded. Maybe when reunification comes, you'll see them again, he said. I hope our generation gets to see reunification. Tears came to my eyes. Reunification. I desperately hoped for it too. When reunification came, could I see my mother? Could I explain why I made this choice? Thank you for listening to my story all the way through. Instead of following the order to die, I chose to live. I refused the command to self-terminate and chose freedom. Even now, people in North Korea carry cyanide capsules. Young people forced to face death. I was lucky. I got to live. I have one request. I hope this story reaches more people. Spread awareness about North Korea's reality. Think together about the need for reunification. Your subscriptions and likes give me strength. We're the same people. Families separated during the Korean War. Generations that suffered through division. You remember. I desperately hope our generation gets to see reunification. I live an ordinary life now. Wake up in the morning. Go to work. Come home in the evening. Watch TV shows I want to watch. Eat food I want to eat. I know how precious this ordinary daily life is. Freedom wasn't free. I lost a lot. But I'm alive. That alone is enough to be grateful for. Thank you sincerely for listening to the end.